So with that being said, though, with every great game, with every great moment, there's always, unfortunately, somebody that's going to struggle for the Phillies. That's just the reality. You're not going to get a game where everybody's perfect. Somebody's going to have an off day. Somebody's going to struggle a little bit. Last night, it was, unfortunately, Cristopher Sánchez. And just really quickly for him to have opened up the first 3 innings of the game, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Cristopher Sánchez is giving me, and he still does give me all the validation that if he were to be moved to that number 2 spot and they were going to play the home away split, I wouldn't bat an eye about it. I'd be fine with it. But then we had the Bryson Stott error where he booted the ball off his foot and stumbled over it. And then Nico Hoerner gets a 3-run home run.
Noted power hitter.
Makes
Nico
it a 1-run
Hoerner,
game. Yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, crap, what's happening here? But fortunately, Brandon Marsh answered right back with a 3-run double of his own, and everything was fine. For Sánchez, he was 1 out shy of qualifying for Wednesday for qualifying for the win. He did finish the season overall with an 11-9 record, a 3.32 ERA across 181 and 2/3 innings. And he's someone that is actually, they were saying as he could be as high as like 5th place in Cy Young voting. So for Sánchez to at home in his 17 starts have a 2.21 ERA with a 7-3 record. Yes, there's been a discussion of what should the plan be for the NLDS? Do you have him start second? Do you have him start third? Do you play the home and away split? And for Rob Thompson, he was mentioning it's more about the opponent versus home and road splits. You know, obviously there is some conversation about the home and road stuff he was mentioning, but he said it is more about the opponent, who they're facing, the matchup for their opponent, more importantly than just where they're playing. So yesterday with 4 2/3 innings to give up 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 of those were earned runs. Not something that you're going to be worried about because overall Cristopher Sánchez has had a phenomenal season.
Yeah,
and we won't see him again until the NLDS.
I think Taryn did her Rob Thompson superlatives during the game last night, where she asked him a bunch of questions prior to the game. You know, who most impressed, who maybe was the best travel buddy, who's the best locker room guy, you know, all those types of things. And he said Cristopher Sánchez was he was most impressed this season with Cristopher Sánchez. Hard not to be. You know, the home and road splits are what they are. It's only 13 games on the road. I think it was 16 at home. It is what it is. You know, there's nothing you can really do about that. But his season from start to finish was exceptional. And now to have him locked up, feeling good as a stable piece of that middle of your rotation going forward at the numbers that he's getting paid, it's a huge benefit for the Phillies going forward. Cristopher Sánchez, absolutely one of the darlings of the year.
Yeah, and to your point, so on the road, and I know in the chat you guys were mentioning like how different his splits are. We know on the road he's had 14 starts, 4 and 6 on the road with a 5.02 ERA and 1.66 whip versus at home in his now 17 starts. Again, 7-3 in those 17 starts with a 2.21 ERA for Sanchi. So yes, it's a major difference. It is 3 starts plus 3, I guess you can say, in terms of home starts versus away starts. And he has been better at home. But he also just has been better this season as a whole. And yesterday, that was just his 11th home run that he gave up all season. He's been solid. Yeah. He's someone that even when Nico Hoerner hit that 3-run homer, I was like, if Rob decided to leave him out there, if he needed to, I would have been fine with it. Like, I have faith in Cristopher Sánchez, and I think he's showing this is not a blip. He's made a lot of adjustments to his pitches. He's pitching with way more confidence. We've talked about it time and time again of him at a point now where he doesn't really have to overthink the mechanics of his pitch. He's able to just go out and trust his stuff. And it shows because he's doing a really good job of consistently battling, consistently being a guy you can rely on, and has been one of the top 2.
How many times this year has Cristopher Sánchez not kept you in a game?
Exactly.
Maybe twice over the course of a whole season. I mean, maybe the NRD can look that up. But yeah, like he really has been something obviously great for this year, but like you know, he seems beloved in there. Yeah. Seems like a great middle of the rotation guy going forward.
So let me ask you guys a question. What do you consider to be, quote, keeping you in the game?
Less than 5?
Doing live renovations on the show.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a good discussion. What do you guys think? I would say less than 6, definitely, but probably less than 5.
4 or less is usually
5 runs.
5 runs, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say anything less than 5.
Well, I think it also is based on how the offense has been I would say 4 or less.
Which
runs.
is also fair, but I agree with you, Renee. I think I'm a 4 or less runs type of guy.
I could go 5.
Earned runs allowed this year in the 31 starts now that Cristopher Sánchez has made. He has given up 4 earned runs or less in 28 of them. He gave up 7 twice and 6 once. So he gave up 7 in that 4th of July game to the Cubs. He gave up 7 to the Diamondbacks in August, and then July 31st, he gave up 6 to the Yankees. Other than that, he has given up 4 earned runs or less in every start he's made this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy impressive. Cristopher Sánchez.
It's
2 earned runs or less in 20 of his 31 starts.
Damn.
Yeah, that's the number I saw.
Crazy.
I did see that number, and actually, I think it was his last start they were talking about it. He has
20 of 31.
So we talk about like Zach Wheeler has given up.
Starts.
That's dirty work.
Zach Wheeler has given up 1 or less in a lot of his starts. Christopher's given up 2 or less in a lot of his starts. Like, it's remarkable how well he's been pitching. And this season, as we talk about the ability to go deeper into games, he has pitched 181 and 2/3 innings compared to like Aaron Nola, who's pitched 194 and a third innings. Like, he's up there in terms of innings with your, Zach, Aaron. And he's someone we've been able to see. I mean, I'm curious to know, actually, and Tyler, you could probably pull it quicker than I can, how many games he's been able to go. Well, 7+ was the streak for the undefeated streak until that was snapped.
Yeah, until Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler's last start.
Christopher Sánchez has gone 7 or more innings 8 times this year.
Okay.
If you extend it to 6 innings, he's gone 6 or more innings 17 times.
Okay, makes sense then. That's impressive. That's like over half of his starts that he's been able to go at least 6 innings.
Well, and that's kind of the question of like how long is his allowance in the playoffs? If he gives you 5 really strong innings, that's a really successful start. If he gets 6, that's really, really good. I don't think they're going to push him much further than that. I'm not sure they allow him to go a 3rd time through the lineup against the playoff caliber team. But to get 5 or 6 really good innings out of him and to turn things over to the bullpen would be, I think, would be a significant win for this team.
Yeah, and that's a conversation now of what are the expectations for the starting pitchers come playoff time. Zach Wheeler is one you can expect to be able to consistently get you 6-7 strong innings. I think it's, of course, situational. If a guy is getting knocked around and hit around early, you're not going to go further in the game. But I think the expectation is someone like Cristopher Sánchez and Aaron Nola are probably around that same mark of get us 6 innings. Ranger is still up in the air. We'll still have to see what that number looks like for him after his final start against the Nationals.